What's up, everyone? It's Matt Morozic, and this is a little update video on life and projects and stuff. Haven't done one of these in a long time, but it's a good opportunity. I just did a little update video on this flash that I've been working on for the past, couple months for Leo, in between other projects. So I have officially been furloughed as of this Sunday, the 5th. So technically, I'm still working at home until this Friday, and then from then I'm furloughed. So in case any of you don't know what I do for my real job, other than painting, is I'm a photographer. I'm a professional photographer. I've been a professional photographer for 25 years now. God, that seems so long. I forget how old I am. I'll be 45 this year, and I've been shooting professionally since I was 20. So I started shooting professionally when I was in college, and been doing that ever since. So I work for JCPenney Corporation. My job on a day-to-day basis is I basically photograph corporate communication pieces. I'll do some marketing. There's a whole other marketing department. I'll do a little bit of that, not a whole lot. Mostly internal communications, annual report stuff. I help with our visual merchandising team, the guys that go into the store and make everything look pretty. So that's kind of like what I do. I work for the visual merchandising team as the photographer, the only photographer really that does all the photos. So unless you work in a JCPenney store, you probably don't see a lot of my work, but they do use some of my stuff for announcements and business strategies and things like that. So so because our stores are closed, and I think the shelter in place nationwide, I'm not sure if it's nationwide, it's been extended to April 30th. So initially it was April 2nd, which is Thursday. It's now been extended to April 30th. So at that time, our company will reevaluate what we're doing and if we're going to do anything. So so anyway, I've been officially furloughed. Our kids are at school or at home, as probably many kids around the country are, or most kids. So my wife, who works for Frito-Lay corporate, she's actually able to do her full-time job at home. So she's working from home full-time, still getting paid. I'll get my last real paycheck today. I need another source of income, which will be painting. So I've got like probably 3 or 4 more, I'm going to say, private commissions before, and then until I'm completely done with like all my obligated pieces that I'm still trying to get through. I've got a Marvel versus Capcom Wolverine. I'm gonna finish this guy up in the next day or so. All that's really left on him is the skin tones, and those are where I struggle. So I always save those till last if I can, because it just takes me a long time. I've got a Gladiator that I was supposed to do a long time ago. I got it in trade for a kit that I still haven't touched because I haven't done my part of the deal yet. What else? I've got like 2 Hellboys, I think, that people still want me to do. So once those are done, then I'm gonna start going into my personal stash and just painting stuff I have. Like I have an Alpha 3 Captain America kit again. I've got a huge Hulk. I've got Crossbones. I've got some other pieces I can paint, and maybe get those sold, and that can be my additional income. I tried selling a bunch of this stuff unpainted, and unpainted is expensive, so it seems to obviously do better if I can paint it and then sell it. So I'm going to paint the things, I'm going to paint them the way I want to paint them, and then I'm going to sell it. And hopefully there are still collectors out there that can afford to buy some stuff, even though the economy's in the shitter right now. So I'm furloughed. So I'm going to try to use this time to, like I said, finish the projects I have. I've got 2 over here that I can't show you because they're licensed pieces. They're for gaming heads. So obviously it's like similar when I was supposed to paint for Sideshow. I had to sign all sorts of legal documents and non-disclosure agreements and stuff. If you don't know who Gaming Heads is, I'll put a link below. They're kind of like a Sideshow, but all they have are gaming licenses. So it's pretty cool. So they contacted me a while ago, and I've got one project that I've had for a long time. It's a very slow communication process. It could take up to a week or 2 weeks to hear from them after I send them, a step. Like, here's a step. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. It could be 2 weeks before I hear from them. So it's a very slow process, because the way I work, if I painted for it's like I do a step, I have you approve it, then I move on. I show a step, I have you approve it, move on, because there's way more work to go back and fix something than it is to do it right the first time and have you adjust it at that point. So one piece I've had for months, it should have been done a long time ago, but again, it's a very slow process. Another piece I'm doing, it's in my opinion, unless they want something else, is done, and it's from one of my favorite video games. So I was really excited to do that, but unfortunately I can't show you or tell you what it is. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully they'll have me do some more stuff, even though it's been a really slow process. But they've been very, very patient, very cool. They know I don't paint full time, so it's been a good thing for them, and for me. What else? I'm going to use this time also to kind of learn the 3D printing a little bit better. I finally cleaned out my garage after 6 months. My wife can now park in the garage again after we did some home improvements. I'm going to move my 3D printer down into the garage. I have a perfect spot for it. I haven't printed because as little as it does smell at the house, and it's not super noisy. What it sounds like in the back, it sounds like there's a loud computer fan going on in the background. And the way my work area is set up in the house is that I'm upstairs, but I'm not in an enclosed room. So like I'm looking over to my right here, and I can look down into our downstairs, like main TV room. So and the ways our ceilings are vaulted, the sound just kind of carries out throughout the house. So even though the printer's not very loud, you can hear it throughout the house. So I got the space cleaned up for that. And between me and Floyd, we got a bunch of stuff we want to print. So time to learn that. Hopefully I can get all the stuff I have backlog painted. And if I continue to be furloughed, or if I unfortunately lose my job, I'll start taking commissions on a one-by-one basis. I'm not going to book people out like I did last time. It just was, in the end, it was not good for me to do that. So so maybe in a 4 to 6 weeks, if I get through everything, I'll be able to start taking on other jobs one by one. I am acting as my kid's homeschool teacher, since my wife is actually working full time from home. So that's been a very interesting learning curve and can be very frustrating at times. Teachers do not get paid nearly enough, in my opinion. I know there's some strong opinions about that, but yeah, they don't get paid enough. It's interesting, especially when you have a child who's dyslexic and has ADD. So, both my kids are ADD, but I have one that's dyslexic, so that's an interesting challenge, and he's doing good. It's really more me working with him and learning how to work with him than anything. It's not him, it's me. So that's what's going on. I probably look like a mess. Like I haven't, I've been showering, but I haven't been shaving or like doing my hair. Or, if I brush my teeth in the day, that's a big step right now. Deodorant's a big one too. So that's what's going on. So just a little update, and for anyone who's watched and kept watching my channel, really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys later, hopefully with some more work in progress videos and painting videos, maybe some more 3D printing videos. But I just did a little kind of update on this. It's something I've been working on and off between other projects in between. So I just got 2 done. I just wrapped up the Gravin Labs Captain America. No, sorry, Gravin Labs Classic Iron Man. And at the same time, I wrapped up a Daily Planet Superman. I'll be doing one more of those. It was my personal kit. I've already sold it. I just got to paint it. And so I'll be shipping out the Gravin Labs Classic Iron Man and the Gravin Labs Captain America, which I actually finished a few months ago. But Marcus wanted to wait and ship them together at the same time. So those are boxed up. I finally boxed up the Captain America yesterday. I had to rebox it because the box that it came in was not good. It was damaged pretty good. The piece was fine, but the box was tore up, so I had to rebox that. And by the way, I've already said goodbye, but by the way, shipping is a pain in the ass for anyone who doesn't know. It takes me a long time to do it because I have to box it up, I have to weigh it, to measure it, then I have to spend tons of time getting shipping quotes. It's not like I just box it up and, I'm going to use FedEx. Nope, I check out FedEx price, I check out UPS, I check USPS, and then I contact the seller or the buyer or whoever's getting the piece. Like, all right, these are the prices, this is what, and like, well, can you get a better price? Like, I don't know, let me try again. So it's like, it can take a while. It's not an easy process. So that's a part of the process people don't see, is just the packaging and shipping. It's a very time consuming. So I had another little side note is I had another painter contact me just a little while, like the other day. His name's Phil. and I've been following his work. He's a very good painter. He does mostly classic horror and things like that. And he was asked to do the quarter scale samurai Wolverine, which is a phenomenal piece. And he's like, hey, he sent me a message the other day. He's like, hey, do you want to paint a samurai Wolverine? He's like, yeah, I know exactly what that piece is. I'd love to. You know, it's an amazing piece, tons of detail. And he's like, yeah, I just can't do it. I don't have the space for it. I didn't realize how big it was, and he just doesn't have the capacity to do stuff that big. So he agreed to do it, and unfortunately, he has the piece, but he physically can't do it. So I got in contact with the person who owns it, and I quoted him $1,100 to paint it. And why is it that much? Well, it's a big piece. It's got 2 torsos. It's got like 4 heads, 5 or 6 arms. It's a ton. It's basically 2 statues. And then he told me what Phil quoted. I was like, oh man, yeah, I can't do it for that. So yeah, so people sometimes don't realize, especially if you're new, like I was a couple of years ago, new to the whole statue painting thing. There's a lot of work. I mean, I told the guys probably 80 hours of the paint, at least for me to do it. Tons of. If you haven't seen the piece, it's amazing. Like the armor itself has all sorts of like Japanese writing on it and the details and stuff. So the hand painting is unreal, and there's some amazing paint-ups of that piece right now. So that's what I quoted him. That's what I kind of think. You know, it's going to take me 2 weeks to do this thing. So I think it's a fair price. A lot of people probably do it cheaper. I don't know. That's what I would charge. Yeah. So again, as I usually do, I ramble and just kind of go all over the place. But if you are curious what I charge to paint stuff, I'm very open about it. I start at $750. That's the minimum price I'm going to charge to paint something. It's going to take me at least a week to do anything. So whether it's ready to paint or not. I typically try to charge an additional $100 for each head that's in the piece, or $50 for a head. If it's a masked face, then it's not that big of a deal. But if it's the skin tones and eyes and stuff like that, I try to do that. Just because those take a while. It can be very time consuming to do faces and stuff like that. So yeah, there are guys that are cheaper, and there's guys that are more expensive. But like I'll tell you, like the 2 licensed pieces I'm doing, like and I learned this from another painter. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to divulge his or her pricing scheme. But they were kind enough to share with me what they charge for licensed painting, and they charge $1,200. Start at $1,200 for a licensed piece. And so like these guys, they start at $1,200 to do a licensed piece, because no matter what the piece is, because they are selling 500, 1,000, or 2,000, they are making a lot of more money than they're making money on those pieces rather than a collector. That's an expense to them. And so like for the custom stuff, it's typically with Grabbing Labs, basically we had struck up a deal a while ago that was I paint a piece and I get a kit. That has changed, not with them but with other people who want me to do a custom piece. I ask for a small fee plus a kit, so it's like $300 plus a kit, because their cost of the kit isn't that much. The shipping may be a little higher, but that way I just get a little monetary value out of it also right up front. So that's kind of my pricing scheme in general for painting a quarter scale statue. I start like $750 and I go up from there. And they take a lot of supplies. Some of these guys, I mean, just in sealer, I typically use Krylon matte spray as a sealer. I'll go through 6 or 7 cans of that on one piece just for sealer, because I seal every step very, very well. That way, if I screw up, I can go back. If I'm using acrylics, I can go back and really try to take that paint off or correct my errors. So I seal the crap out of these things. So they're well protected by the time I'm done. But that's just me rambling on and on again. And again, as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.